Only once. For once, leave the comfort zone and raise yourself up. Embrace new sensation. Celebrate new happiness. Find new excitement.
welcome back to Day 4 of the Mobile Legends BangBang M4 World Championships. We are now down to our final match between the next generation of MPL, RRQ Akira and Occupy Thrones. Two regions have succeeded on moving to the next round, but there can only be one of them this time. Will it be the brothers from Brazil or from the MENA region? Saigon is the unsung hero of RRQ Akira, as he is not always noticed by the opponents, dealing the most damage possible on the team. Blacklist International, as a top team, even fears his hero pool, especially his Xavier. They will be faced with Occupy Thrones, who just came from an amazing match yesterday. An amazing match was played out by Occupy Thrones, with Maro's crazy Kufra setups setting them up for success. Now they are up against their brothers of the next generation of MPL. Will they beat their brothers from Brazil on their debut? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analyst stand here. It's me, Naisu, joined here with Trex and Wolf to close up the day for you with this final match. Boys, how we feeling? It's a heated one, RRQ Akira and Occupy Thrones.
Definitely a heated one. I'm honestly excited to see how the talent predictions end up because, of course, I mean, Akira looked great, but after Occupy Thrones last night, Leo definitely has some surprises in his pocket.
I think that it's just kind of sad that they will be eliminating each other, right? You want them to move forward. So much improvement between the players of this region. And it's just a hot topic today, like the next generation of MPL. Last year, I kind of asked for a Western kind of, like if there's embassy, hopefully there's a Western version of that. And I'm pretty sure that these two teams will be dominating that.
For a lot of these teams here, if they don't have an MPL region, a lot of people were surprised, right? Some of these teams. I mean, even technically, the previous series, the Valley, I would say people were surprised because there's no MPL in NA, right? There's a couple tournaments here and there, but all over the world, there's just proof that there are so many amazing teams and players out there begging for a league like the MPL.
And I mean, it just goes to show the hunger of some of these regions, right? How bad a lot of these regions want it. Now, Brazil has gotten the MPL, right? And Akira has been able to hone itself in that league and has really just showed up. And I think even then, people thought that they weren't going to be the strongest team, but honestly becoming a possible, or maybe even could be said, dark horse of this event.
Yeah, I kind of was counting, actually. I think we have like 5 Western teams left out of the 10.
Yeah.
We also have, out of the 9, and 4 Southeast Asian teams. And even Midnight is actually going for RRQ Akira and Live for Surf.
He's going for RRQ in general.
RRQ Oshi.
Hey, you know what? It's RRQ, right? So, this is, I feel like in a way this is expected, but hey, there's an Occupy Thrones. Here it is from the MENA region, XLR 44. Now that's a lot of RRQ Akira votes here, but still, I mean, even the performance yesterday from Occupy Thrones, that's pretty exciting going into this match.
But my question is, Naisu, I want to throw it back at you. What makes you vote for Akira here? Let's get saucy.
Let me tell you. No, honestly, I have been a fan of RRQ just in general, right? And even leading up to the M4 tournament, following even M3, right? With Luis, King, and third one was... Yes, I mean, as a team, following them along has been really interesting, and knowing that now they're under this banner of RRQ has been a big factor for it. And I mean, I gotta vote for them, right? I love the personalities, I love the play style of both of them.
You're gonna have to say Occupy Thrones. They have a Filipino coach. I'm gonna be actually be voting for that guy. So we'll find out what happens as we throw it. I think we're gonna be throwing it
to the casters
themselves.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and throw it over to them. Boys, take this game away. Enjoy the series.
These teams have grown so much, both from developing regions with their own MPLs, but sadly tonight only one marches on. At your service, my name is Leo, joined at the desk by LaFell and Jays, and we'll be bringing you this best of three between Occupy Thrones and RRQ Akira. Before we get on with the pre-match discussion, going into the draft, I'd like to remind you all about the M4 Pass. It's available right now. Complete all active tasks and you will reach level 75 at ease and for free. Log in now and get exclusive rewards such as the Beatrix Light Chaser and Stellar Brilliant skins and the M4 Beatrix figurine. They're all waiting for you in that pass. Use the hashtag Mobile Legends BangBang, hashtag MLBBM4, and hashtag Dare to Be Great. Battle Night goes live this January 21st. Expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in-game. First off, complete battle tasks in the game, and make sure you do that by January 21st to get the skin choice chest. You can choose the skin you like the most from the chest, and aside from that, battle bonus awaits you on the same day. Play matches and you'll get team star protection for 3 matches, double star raising points, double protection points, double DXP, and double BP for 5 matches. We're not stopping there. Free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available that same day. Save the date, log in on the game, January 21st. Enjoy the match and enjoy tons of rewards that you can win. Let's all celebrate the M4 World Championship together with all your friends. And it looks like RRQ Akira has already brought their friends. My friends, LaFell and Jays, how y'all feeling?
I'm feeling actually pretty good because looking at both these teams, we got to look at the differences in terms of where they're really strong at, because for Occupy Thrones, Maro as well as Leo has really been proving that they are way more capable in handling all these team fights and all the complicated macro coming in from the team. But we got to look at the team lineups because, again, I want to talk about RQ Akira as well, because the way that they play the game, we got to look at the different powers that they have in their team.
Yep, and with that said, we're just going to take a look at the starting lineup, right? RQ Akira, Occupy Throne, are there any changes towards the roster? But I don't think there should be any, because I feel like these are the best in slot, right? Saijin, Tekashi, Gustala Gusta, King, and Luis.
Waiting in the wings is Blink, who was once a flex mid or gold for RRQ Akira, but now is mainly helping out Coach Cabral with the draft.
Yeah, and speaking of which, right now we are looking at Occupy Thrones as well, where yesterday, I gotta say, they got a very difficult matchup as well, but they still made it work, and it is true Leo as well as Gato. So going up against RQ Akira, I feel like it's gonna be much more difficult for them to find those opportunities.
Yep, they're making their way on the stage. The MENA champions.
Occupy Thrones, looking to prove everybody wrong on M4 stage. Stacks. Odds are stacks against them, and they're looking to make us regret our votes.
Look at the stride. They're moving to the stage. They look happy. They look confident. They look like they're ready to crush it.
Representing the MENA region with players from Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Give it up for Occupy Thrones!
Looking to occupy that M4 throne. It is in the title, but it's up to their performance whether they can rub against RRQ Nation.
Smile all across their faces. I don't think we gotta ask. I'm pretty sure that they are ready for this match.
Oh yeah, and here you can feel the Brazilian energy. Tekashi smiles. I love it when that young man smiles alongside Luis. You can't help but do the same.
Yeah, the smile is infectious, the confidence is infectious, the motivation infectious, and of course, the crowd, my goodness me, is leaking through, and they are infectious as well.
That's Astro Thunder! That's Astro Thunder!
Walking in, full of swag, loving the energy, loving the crowd. Viva RRQ with making a lot of noise. They are feeling great.
Technically, you could say that this is their home court, right? I mean,
might as well.
With the RRQ name.
They are adopted.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, from Brazil, let's give it up for RRQ Akira!
Man, the fans had adopted them, integrated them. RRQ Akira, the fan base is cheering them on.
And making their way on stage right now with our esteemed referee, the authority in this current competition. We have Aditya Padilla, and flanking him are the coaches, Coach Cabral and Coach Mundo. X Factor, possibly, that's a Filipino coach for Occupy Thrones.
I feel like if there's any Filipino in your team, doesn't matter what role, he could be the owner. Just the owner itself is already quite the buff. Something about the Filipinos, man. But going into the game, again, when we're going to look at the lineup, we're going to look at the draft, I'm looking at Leo as well as Mauro for Occupied Drones. For RQ Kira, I'm looking at Saigon as well as Takashi. Again, looking at how, I would say both players for both teams, the way they start up the fight is different because, like you said, every single time when we're looking at an MVP, the setup and the payoff.
Two kinds of different players, right? That could make the difference. And here, we're gonna need every single player to do the same. Head-to-head, looking at what RRQ Akira and Occupy Thrones are bringing. Obviously, Akira had a rocky start in the knockout stage, but they're winning the best that they can. Let's look at Occupy Thrones though. Look at their kills. They're killing just a wee bit more than RRQ Akira.
I agree. Yeah, Occupy Thrones, I think a little bit more bloodthirsty as compared to Akira. But another thing that you also have to take note is that Akira has a stronger early game control, but when it goes to the later part of the game control, Occupy Thrones, they have the advantage. But what I love about Occupy Thrones is their consistency. Just take a look, early game and late game, 33.3%.
But looking at the KDA ratio, they're very close. So it does show that both teams like to skirmish quite a lot, and not every skirmish will really result in what they really wanted. So going up against here, when both teams have the same mentality when they're taking the team fights, it could be very, very messy very, very quickly.
Yep, and them getting messy is a last choice. It's a worst case scenario because both are very good at the late game. RRQ Akira have modeled themselves after the M3 World Champion Blacks International, while Occupy Thrones winning their MENA Grand Finals, becoming champions. All their games went past the 20-minute mark, so they're both very late game-centric teams. Now, what the world thinks is it's all for RRQ Akira.
This is the kind of scores that my mom expected me in my O levels.
For Akira.
For Akira. RRQ Akira.
Be clear.
All throughout the board, but we are getting some love back from the Occupy Thrones MENA as well, but it's still not too far apart. It's 58% versus 42%.
I have years of being on the desk, of being on the analyst stand, and I'm always not sure. Do you really want to be on the side of the predictions? Doesn't matter if it's talents. Doesn't matter if it's coming from the audience. Sometimes it feels good getting all the love. Sometimes you feel like, it doesn't feel good.
I feel you, man. Years on the desk and you've almost seen everything, but the truth is you never have seen everything. There's always that surprise, and we'll see here if that surprise comes, because look at the energy in Leo. Look at this young man. He stands at 6'10" tall, and again, in the map, in game, when he gets his hands on heroes like Fanny, like Ling, again, he seems like a giant.
Here's the thing, I like how they're taking this, because usually people are like, oh, it must be very intimidating when your opponent has the crowd on their heads, but they're like, no, we're riding it, we're vibing, we like the noise, we like the energy, so they're using the crowd for their own advantage as well.
It feels like you're taking the enemy buff for your own selves, and it's really interesting coming up from Occupy Thrones. That motivation as well, it's really infectious.
Oh, let's see how they use this momentum, this energy in game number 1. It's afoot. The draft has begun. RRQ Akira on the play blue side, banning out the Fanny and the Franco, while Occupy Thrones got that 2-pick advantage. The clapback taking out the Joy and the Benedetta.
I like the fan signs like, yeah, Occupy Thrones for the victory. But yes, looking at the way that they're drafting, with the Franco being banned out, the annoying thing about the Franco is whoever gets it gets to dictate when the fight starts, as well as it kind of shows that you can't really get into a fight. So RQ Kira, by banning out the Franco, I kind of feel like they're gonna use a dive composition.
Yeah, but the fact that, I feel like RRQ Akira has done their homework very well. It is, of course, Maro very confident in the Franco pick, but this means that, you open up yourself to a lot more power picks, right? The Kanja, the Glue, well, you can see the carry getting taken out already by the side of RRQ Akira. There's also the Eve that's wide open. Occupy Thrones have a MCQ to answer.
Okay, so right now looking at Occupied Thrones, the way that they're batting out, they're really focusing on Takashi, because now when I see Joy, let's just assume he's XP with the glue as well. Like I said, so right now they're putting a lot of their ban eggs into a basket of Takashi, which leaves open the 1-1, and we've seen where Occupied Thrones, they nearly got stomped by the 1-1.
I mean, Astro Thunder, if you want to stop him, this is what you do, right? You corner him into a specific choice that maybe Hulk can take advantage of, and we'll see how they answer that. But at the cost of giving Gusta La Gusta 1-1?
Yeah, personally, what I feel like Occupy Thrones could do, they could immediately drop into a Kufra as well, but instead, Occupy Thrones opted for the Lapu, Lapu opted for the Valentina as well. Usually, when teams first pick their Valentina, the main goal is, I want to control this draft, and all of a sudden, you basically, your hero pool will get chunked down because you don't want to give too much ultimates over to the side of the Valentina.
And right now, RQQ are ranked second in hero damage per minute, which, like I said again, they like to scrimmage and they like to scrimmage hard, where whenever they want to take, say, any kind of neutral objectives, they actually take the fight first, which is something that we really have to put into consideration. With RQQ following up with the Eve as well as the Fredrin, it looks like they're going to have a lot of fight because this is a lot of control between the Fredrin as well as the Eve, and the damage, 1-1 can just deal it all day.
Yep, the GOAT, Coach Cabral, seems to have found the groove. He's playing a chess match against Coach Mundo, and I like how these two are picked up in this order, right? The Fredrin and then the Eve, because you still don't know where the Fredrin's going.
Fredrin could go into the jungle, could go in the XP lane. It's RQ throwing that question over the side of Occupy Thrones. They're not really revealing every single thing in their cards just yet, but they've already revealed their game plan, right? I want to go to the late game with a 1-1, then of course set it up with the box, the real world manipulation. However, Occupy Throne can also do the same as well.
Okay, I want to start setting up the storyline for this game, where I see the Claude here, where I would say it's a very mixed bag, because people with very high mechanical skills are able to use the Claude in a way that you're dodging a lot of the skill shots. But the thing is, with the Claude, you have a very low amount of HP, even amongst all of the marksmen here. So having this Claude, you're really having quite a risk in your own pick and ban. This is a very strong hero. Don't get me wrong, but it's very, very risky. And now they pick up a Kaja. I'm even looking at this. Is the Kaja really that well for them? Because Kaja picks someone off. Do they have enough burst damage?
Yeah, I think what Kaja could do, right? This ultimate meant to abduct. You want to make sure that, you know, you take away the second skill of the 1-1, abduct her all the way into the lovely hands of the stun. But then again, I think that's something that you cannot purify away, right?
Yeah, no, the problem for me is the fact that the Kaja is good when you're ahead. When you're behind, you're going to have to find mistakes that your opponent makes on the map. And against a team that's so well-oiled as RRQ Akira, that's rarely going to happen. And you mentioned the Claude, Lafel. You talked about how in the hands of Gado, it might take a while to build up. That makes the Kaja a non-starter. It's going to be an odd interaction. And now, the answer, foot's on the other shoe, or the shoe's on the other foot. Oh, my words. The Kaja gets answered by the Kufra.
Yeah, and right now it looks like we're finishing off the draft with the Nakai for Occupied Thrones. Now, I'm analyzing the draft right now, and it's going to be a very difficult game for the Kaja because, like you said, for a Kaja, you're kind of setting up the map for yourself because you want to have bush control. If you cannot control the bush, you can't actually get whoever you want to get. And if you don't have the bush control, you don't get to choose. And the thing is, it's hard to choose already. RQ Kira already having 3 very, very tanky frontliners.
And with that being said, the choice to give Leo here a Nakai is very Occupy Thrones, meaning that even in their grand finals of MPL MENA where they won their championship, this is a tendency. Just give Gado something that can carry with in the late game, and then just have the rest of the team try to buy time on the map. Jace, I have a bad feeling. I feel like Arakil here saw this coming.
I don't know, man. I feel like if I'm Spider-Man senses are tingling, whatever is tingling. But you know what's tingling, everybody, ladies and gentlemen? The crowd is just cheering for RRQ Akira, affecting both of these two teams. Occupy Thrones, they're riding on it.
We're going into game 1 in this best of 3. It's the champions from MPL Brazil and MPL MENA. It's RRQ Akira going up against Occupy Thrones. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have to iron out a few kinks in the competition to make sure that our athletes get to have the best experience and put on the best show for all of us. Now, with that being said, a few more moments for us to digest what might happen.
So this is what I'm predicting and what we gotta look out for. The first 2 turtles, because whoever gets the turtle buff, you have a small advantage to actually control the map in terms of controlling the bush. And again, like I said, this is very prime for Occupied Thrones. If they do not get any kind of mistake coming in from Aoki Akira for the first 2 turtle picks is going to be very, very problematic for them. If Aoki Akira, not only do they not get picked off, but they also establish a good solid ground inside the jungle of Occupied Thrones, then I gotta say, Aoki Akira, they're gonna have a very good transition from mid to late game.
Yeah, but LaFell, I think at this level, at the best of 3 in the lower brackets, I don't think it's about, you want to count on your enemy's mistakes. I think you have to create the opportunities to allow the enemy to create mistakes, right? But at the same time, what I'm looking from the side of Occupied Thrones is the control in the mid lane. Valentina usually have a very strong early game presence and try to get ahead, but it's going up against a Yi, which has a lot of slows and also quite a good wave clear as well.
Based on the way that this discussion is going, it's a matter of Occupied Thrones moving much, much faster than we have seen them, both in the group stage and the knockout stage. And I don't know if that's possible. Again, even if our good friend Naisu says, they trained their minds out.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it was,
Whatever
right?
it was, yeah. We gotta...
See, you think about something too much, and you try your hardest, and the best performances come out. That's what I'm afraid of here. The fact that Occupied Thrones is trying a strategy that isn't a sound.
Okay, so Jace was talking about you got to create your own opportunities.
Yep.
How you create that opportunity is with the Kaja. Now, let me remind everyone what they're working with. You got a Kaja that can pull someone in, but then the follow-up damage is going to be the Valentina, the Akai, as well as the Claude. In those first 2 turtles, will they have enough damage? But before that, let's look at the player head-to-head.
Now, you brought up the fact that it's all leading up to, again, the 2 turtles helping out the core damage dealers, right? Pushing your strategy forward. And who do you have to expect to carry that burden? The gold laners, right? You have here Gado and Gusta Lagusta. Obviously, stats are skewed on over to Gusta Lagusta. And again, this is why I'm so worried for that Claude.
Another thing to worry about is that in a marksman matchup, a 1-1 going up against a Claude will usually take more time as compared to the 1-1. If the 1-1 knows how to play aggressively, she will be able to, walk around, play around with your weak points, and then win that trade. And you've also got a semi-pew for yourself at the same time. The Kufa will definitely linger around the 1-1 side to make sure that this 1-1 get a very good farm and good GPM. But take a look at looking at the head-to-head right now, is leaning towards Gusta Lagusta with a 768 versus a Gado, which is 626. Expect Gado, especially on the Claude, to play passively.
I would argue that this stats is not 1-to-1 because the way that their games have been progressing is very different, where Aoki Akira, they had very good matches in the group stages, and even though I would say Occupied Thrones had good matches themselves, but it really doesn't give the same results as Aoki Akira. So looking at the stats, I kind of feel like, yes, it shows that on average, Gusta Lagusta has been, rocking way more in terms of damage, in terms of gold, but I kind of feel like Gado, he still can match up against Gusta Lagusta, but the thing is, you gotta look at the movements. Who's really putting the pieces together? Who's pushing this there, getting this, getting that? I feel like that's gonna be the main thing, and that's why, again, I'm really focusing on the transition from the early to mid stages of the game.
And I think that's their main difference. You can argue about stats, how they're taken, what the sample size is, but the fact is, both these players are activated at different times in the game, right? Early game, you can expect Gusta Lagusta to come off. But for late game, Gado has never missed, right? Even with his Lunox, with his Beatrix, with his Claude, now in game 1, we're gonna see exactly how that comes to fruition, all right? For reals this time. Let's do it. Aoki Akira versus Occupy Thrones. Mind the jungle rotations. It looks like it's a pure mirror. It's orange to orange.
Another thing that we also seen from other Kajas is that they need to establish that river control, right? To make sure that you know where the enemy jungle is, you protect your jungler from, any sort of invades. At the same time though, I feel like both these 2 teams, take a look, both these 2 roamers focusing on the mid lane for now.
Right now, Fury is doing quite a lot of damage onto Saigon, and Louise is checking out where everyone is moving because as a Kupra as well as a Kaja, any cash heroes, doesn't really matter who, push control is super, super important. Right now, Fury 77 is actually doing a lot more than Saigon is able to going up against Maro and Fury.
the best part about, the Valentina is that, yes, you can clump together, and that's where her passive comes into play, right? The more that you land these spells on top of the heroes, you gain more EXP. Just take a look. Just the difference in the EXP level. Sergeant skill struggling at level 2. Furry 77 has already hit level 3.
And that helps with Occupy Throne's plans.
Correct.
I'm guessing, because again, that's less pressure on Gado. Takash though.
Oh, Furry 77 found Takashi, but the Char Residue just makes him super tanky. He will be able to sustain out of this fight.
They're professional players. If that was me, I would have gone for it. But probably all the skills were in cooldown, and they understand they cannot lose early. So right now, good setup, but Gado not going to get caught by Lewis.
Oh no, Leo spots that there's a little bit of pressure on his gold laner, catches the Brazilian Heartbreaker.
Oh,
this could be
Lewis
dangerous.
gets hit to the wall. The flicker will be allowing Lewis to save his life. Occupy Thrones has ganked twice. None of them sticks.
All right, so again, full control from RRQ Akira, right? They are not shaken. They're not stirred for sure. And look at King. He is first on the scene, quickly pulling that turtle.
Yeah, 37-7 is something that we need to take a look at, right? He needs to hit level 4 quickly, gain that real world manipulation.
And so far, he's just coming onto the scene. 4v4, pending. Could it be? Turtle less than half health.
Maro is already level 4. He's trying to upduck. It's going to be the pressure that takes, but the real one manipulation. Leo takes the first turtle away, and they've already picked up their prize. The RRQ Akira will punish them back.
First blood for a major objective. LaFell, was that worth it?
I honestly feel like it's worth it for RQ Akira because that is what Occupy Trolls want. They want the first 2 turtles, and they understand. And like I said, based on the stats, numbers don't lie. They want to fight first, objective second.
Oh, the slow coming out from Sagan is actually helping him quite a lot. Maro and also Fury 77 will not be able to catch anything for now.
So now here's what I'm thinking, right? Half of your team wants to go aggressive. The other half wants to go get objectives. What's Occupy Thrones doing, right? Oh no, he's gonna get sandwiched!
Oh, Maro is gonna get absolutely sandwiched by the Akira Brazilian team. No way for Maro to get out there.
So now, Occupy Thrones, they gotta look at the map. They gotta understand their win condition. And it's slightly difficult because, like you said, they're a mishmash of everything, where it's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of situation with the draft. So Hulk over here, going up against Takashi as of right now, yeah, sure, a lot of trades going on, but nothing really happening. Looking at what Occupy Thrones really should do is they gotta find a way to get inside the jungle of RQ Akira. But based on draft, easier said than done.
Yep, and there's a cheeky emblem build on Leo. He has a little bit of damage and then didn't go full in on the cooldowns. So that might be something that comes into play. Saigen!
Oh, it's going to be Saigen actually getting terrified at the same time. Maro jump all the way to the back line. This one time is blazing the way from Gado. Shreds the back line of RRQ.
And King just walks away. RRQ Akira, they lose 1 and they're happy to at least survive. So again, this is the first time I've seen Gado so aggressive so early.
I mean, as an analyst, it's good to feel good, to get it right. Leo here fighting King, but not enough damage as of yet. Like I said, Occupy Thrones, what they want to do is want to get inside the jungle of RQ Akira because, again, bush control. I'm going to stress that until the end of the game.
Yeah, this is the second turtle for now. It's got the members from the RRQ, so already set up base. Leo, on the other hand, doesn't have the ultimate, so they have to be careful. Louis jump all the way in. It's going to be Takashi in the Black Dragon form. Looking for some big off. Leo will be nowhere to be seen. RRQ Akira has full control of the turtle penalty.
Astro Thunder almost single-handedly winning that turtle for RRQ Akira. And now you see what that translates into. King's so confident in the back line.
Lewis touching it about Maro might be the victim right here. It's going to be Lewis that gets suppressed, but no follow-up coming up from Occupy Thrones.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? I want to talk about that turtle fight because in that fight, Leo did not have his Hurricane Dance, and this is also very dangerous where RQ Akira, they're really looking at everyone's cooldowns, everyone's spells, and looking at the itemization over here, I would say everyone is optimizing their items. Sorry, God, they're having a lot of penetration as well as the necessary items to actually mitigate the damage.
Something interesting, right? Coming out from the club, but hold on a second. Lewis bouncing around, trying to slow down Occupy Throne just a little bit, but it doesn't stick. But back to what I was pointing out, and looking at the items, Gado did not opt for the Swift Crossbow.
And that's something that we'll have to watch out for. Maybe his priorities are elsewhere, because again, he's playing off kilter. This is a different timing. Gusta la Gusta.
House go in, and he tries to smash, but it is going to be the 1-1 that takes into the air, but he managed to walk out alive.
I'm sorry, I'm an analyst. I cannot explain that.
I can.
Okay, sure. What's going on?
Lapu broken?
Yeah, no. It's the bravest fighter, and then it converts his second skill to damage reduction. He got extra shields, and that's what helped him survive against Gusta Lagusta. But the turret, not so much. It still sends him home.
It is going to be a turret trade right here for the top and the bottom, but it is going to be RQ Kira focusing on the bottom side, where the next turtle will spawn.
Yeah, right now, again, RQ Kira, they're kind of like almost checkmate here. They got the map under control. The way that their damage is coming up, they're going to have it soon, and looks like an engagement coming in, and looks like King is not going to commit.
Nope.
Maradon is the one to use the ultimate as well.
Yep. So again, we're still seeing evidence of Occupy Thrones having different timings, and so far, that's what's leading to their stats just spiking up in damage taken. And Maro trying to make a play here for the turtle. It's free!
Oh, it's going to be Maro that will be slain for now. It's going to be Saigon actually going in with the real world manipulation at the same time. It's going to be Furry 77 unable to find his real world manipulation. Takashi coming in, finding Gado. Oh, a triple kill! Over the goal to Saigon. Gusta Lagusta cleaning it up.
RQ Kira, they're setting it up very, very nicely. They're making sure Occupy Thrones don't actually move together. You guys can split up, because in this kind of matchup, they could kind of take 1v1s all over the place, because the way that they're setting up, okay, we're going to set 3 people closer towards the
clapback, that sudden turnaround. Again, the shields from the turtle could not have come at a better time. RQ Akira just making the most of it. Push.
They picked up, well, 2 turtles right off the bat. Occupy Thrones only picking up 1. The mismatch of that tempo coming up from Occupy Thrones a little bit confusing, and I think the caster, as we clearly point that out.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, right now, for Occupy Thrones, the weight is on the shoulder of Hulk. He, right now, he already has enough sustain with the Bloodless Axe not be activated. So for them to win a team fight, Hulk has to smash.
Yep, and Maro only has a Dominance Ice. There's really not much this Kaja can do, especially then when there's like, what, 2 or 3 members of RRQ Akira on you. And now a concealed play from Luis. Leo pops a heavy spin immediately, and the answer...
Heavy spin will be allowing Leo to pick up that kill, but it's going to be a trade for the objective, throwing that away. Reagan going in real world manipulation, cancelled in right off the bat for now. Occupy Thrones will be able to pick up 1 member for free for the time being.
Now the question, was that planned? The whole heavy spin plus Black Dragon form into a turret, was that worth it?
Looking at the reaction coming in from Occupy Thrones as well as RQ Akira, I don't think that was really planned. It was just reactionary. It's like, I think he overcommitted, so I'm going to try my best to catch him. And that's why we see the pin wasn't really that clean, but it still got the job done.
I think the biggest problem from the side of Occupy Thrones is they don't have bush control. Just take a look how Lewis is just running from one brush to the other. Occupy Thrones, if they want to open that map, they need to walk in.
And that's why vision is so important. Again, Luis, as a traditional tank, a roamer, can just check in, clear. Buying RQ Akira all this space, all this vision, all of this clean engagement.
They're looking out for Takashi. He gets pinned down the wall. Second trying to pull down the damage on the side, but look at the back line. It's going to be Lewis trying to make a play. Gado, he got caught. And now Gusta Lagusta is all the way to the back line. Very Vickers all across the wall. Takashi, no, he's still alive. It doesn't matter because Saigon will be the one that brings down Leo on the top side.
Isolation, confidence, and pure brutality. Astro Thunder kept away Akai, kept away Leo, and bought that whole team fight for his squad.
This is why synergy is so important, because let's make it simple. If you want to catch, you got to make sure you got enough damage, and they don't have enough damage.
Oh no, 1-1 goes in the air. Gustav feeling Gustav after this.
And so far, they're doing so much. They're winning so much on the map. If they stayed maybe a second longer, that inhibitor up top would have been nada. And I guess they're just happy to start taking buffs, taking away major objectives. RQ Akira turning the map blue.
Oh yeah, right now they're really controlling it well. 6,000 gold lead. And again, with the Kufra, you could engage. And the thing is, they will never know what's going on. And even though Kaja is technically a counter towards the Kufra, where it's like, okay, you go in, I'm going to pull you in even deeper. And Saigon can set it up. Everyone's slowed, everyone can come in as fast as just about anyone else.
And slowly, they're looking Oh, that Magic Sentry reveals the concealed play, so Occupy Thrones knows exactly what's up. Shenanigans afoot, not on my watch, says Occupy Thrones. That's a level 1 Lord marching up top, and look at how synchronized these waves are. Maybe a little bit off on the bottom lane, but that top lane inhibitor is gonna be no more.
To this Takashi Dragon.
And bottom lane, gonna slowly go away as well. Gusta La Gusta, the Wrecking Ball, smashing on through, heavy spin!
Oh, heavy spin catches 2, but he has to duck out. The red one animation going in.
I gotta be critical because this is the point where we see it's not good to have conflicting ideas. When you catch someone, you want to kill them fast. If you want to kill someone fast, you need a lot of burst, not damage per second. So now it's really unsynergistic for Occupy Thrones where you can catch someone, but who's gonna finish it off? You gotta set up, but you don't have the payoff.
Yep. Oh! Close. Oh, fast fingers on God. Right? Like you're wondering what's going on.
Yeah, they started with climax. And speaking of the climax, it has landed. Takashi all the way to the back line. Myra will be the first victim, followed by Hulk at the same time. The real one manipulation. Gato nowhere to run and nothing to do. It'll be banned against RRQ.
RRQ Akira draws first blood, putting MPL MENA champions up against the wall. It's match point.
Yeah, and again, this is a situation where actually work together synergistically.
It feels like, you know, you're making a cake, but then you decide to add tomato sauce into it.
Nasi lemak.
RQ, there's so many secondary, tertiary engagers, everything.
Now you talk to me about having ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah.
All right, this is the prime example of why you don't.
Okay. You know what? You win this argument, but again, RQ Akira, it's one thing to make sure that you get into the game with a very good draft, but it's also another thing about the execution because we got to talk about the execution because, again, the way that they do it, Takashi goes in first. It's like, okay, I'm going to make sure everything is safe. Okay, it's all good. Everyone goes in.
Yeah, and again, a majority of this lineup has been playing together for so long, and that's what you get, these kinds of results. On behalf of Jays and LaFell, my name is Leo at your service. We're going to be throwing it over to the analyst stand. Let's see what they think of this first game.
Well, I'll tell you what we think about this game here, guys. It was quite exciting, but at the same time, you hear the band here, you hear the rally, and it's RRQ Akira just making a statement in game number 1, Trex.
Definitely a huge statement for RRQ Akira, and I feel like the side of Occupy Thrones just put too many eggs into the basket of Gato, and today those eggs got crushed in game 1.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's a very conditional draft coming out from Occupy Thrones, at least my perspective. They have to hit a lot of their shots. Surely, when you think about like the combo, you have the Valentina that didn't snatch any ultimate, Kaja ultimate, Blazing Duet, and of course the heavy spin. If you think about it, there's a lot of explosions there, right? But it's very difficult to pull off altogether.
That's one of the things, right? I mean, Claude is a great pick, but in comparison, Claude won one. And it takes a long time for that Claude to get to the point where that Blazing Duet is going to be a threat. And I mean, how many times, too, do we see even Takashi survive some amazing things?
Right.
And that was simply because a lack of damage coming out from Occupy Throne. So, you know, unfortunately, it was tough to even get back into that game with such a lack of items and gold. And I mean, in just a second, we're going to be looking at the item build so we can even look at it further from this standpoint. But still, I mean, talking about pacing, economy, and spacing, it was just really in favor of RRQ Akira from start to finish. And Occupy Thrones are definitely going to want to do something as they get ready for that game number 2. Here are the items, though, Trex. Anything that sticks out specifically for you?
Well, I think the most general point of this is when you invest into that bulky composition, you need to make sure the gold lead does not escape you, because as it does, you're not able to fend against the burst damage that Brazil brought, right? And it just becomes a problem. And once that gold lead, I mean, by the end of the game, it was almost 10,000. And that defensive composition just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, King and Luis, if you think about it, look at their look at their itemization, right? They prioritize anti-ramp kind of damage, like the dominance, ice, as well as like the radiant armor, as well as the blade armor. All of these combined, they make a very tanky and a very bulky front line that the Occupy Thrones composition cannot deal with. Because you're thinking about it, if you go for the Valentina as well as the Claude, even when they're AoE, they're still like damage in the front lines, or frontal damage, for lack of a better term. So once you don't get through the front lines of RQ Brazil, you don't have much left in the tank. Occupy Thrones needed a lot of items for them to come through, and RQ Akira did not let that happen.
And I mean, even if just you take a look at these stats here for the game as a whole, right? Gusto Lagusa was able to profit very well in that 1-1 like we expected. But again, Trex, it's the Kufra pick time after time here, really playing a role for these teams.
Most definitely. Take a look at Louise, the forgotten one, 11 total assists and a 79% team participation rate. And honestly, he's just that hero that has crept back into the meta now. And it's exciting to see. I miss not being able to see him for so long. And taking a look at everything, I mean, just dominating over the board from damage dealt to taking the turrets. I think by the end of that game, OT was only able to secure, what, two turrets? Two or three turrets?
Yep.
I think that's really, really bad. When it comes to the Turtles, though, they were able to get one at least, but it's kind of like RQ Brazil or RQ Akira still was in control of most of the game. They gave away objectives that they don't need because they wanted to make a better trade. For example, when they go for a turtle, they traded for 2 more turrets afterwards. Then, yes, you saw in the previous game, it's a lot of like early game control that you saw coming out from RQ Akira, which was attributed to the fact that they have an easier draft in a way, at least in the early stages. So as good as it is to look at Occupy Thrones' draft, when you theorize what it could happen in theory, I mean, in practice, it's very difficult to pull off.
Yeah, and I mean, with all that, MVP of this game is going to be none other than King here on this Fredrin pick. We've seen him pop up so many times in the jungle and how useful it is for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and I think the final nail in the coffin there was that blade armor that you pointed out earlier, Wolf. I mean, that was like the final thing to nullify anything that Claude could do. At that point, it's like, all right, GG's, well played. Let's focus on the next game. Such a clutch pick there.
There was no actual shred coming out from Occupy Thrones, and I always talk about this kind of factor when you have your marksman for sure. It can deal the damage, but you don't really go in from second 1 until the end of the team fight, right? You want to wait for your timings. That is where you need some sort of poke or some sort of shred, and that wasn't seen from the side of Occupy Thrones. That's why King actually had a great time this game.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much just able to roam around the map, focus on objectives. That's all he really needed to do here. I mean, that's what we saw. And again, as the game progressed, those objectives just built compounding interest for RQ Akira.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't play it too aggressive. Like, there wasn't many invades. He never really went into the enemy purple buff, into the enemy orange buff in that first 5 minutes. They knew the job. Get a little bit of a gold lead in that first 5 minutes, get some objectives, and then as we go into the mid game, that's when they strike.
Well, again, it was just able to allow Gusto Lagusa to be online.
That's right. It's wonderful to watch because if you look at it once again, they wait for their ultimates to be up. For example, Takashi, I can only see like literally one time where he defensively used his ultimate, but almost all the time they're clumping up together. They're utilizing the strength of their team fight composition, not letting the Valentina get a good ultimate up or a snag, right? So it was really just RQ Akira masterfully winning the team fights because of their timings.
That's the other thing that was a big question for me was you have the Akai for OT, but then you're trying to play around that Blazing Duet too.
That's right.
And a lot of times what ended up happening is they pushed away from the Blazing Duet. But again, that was game number 1. We still have one more game ahead of us, possibly. It's match point here for RQ Akira. Can we extend the series? That's what we're gonna have to see. Casters, take it away.
Take it away, we shall, and back to the desk we are. At your service, my name is Leo, this is LaFell, and that's Jays. And we're about to head into the second game in this best of 3, possibly the last one. LaFell, What do you think is going to happen?
Okay, what I think is going to happen is that Occupied Thrones, they're going to have to pay attention towards the ban a little bit more because, again, the ban kind of dictates what's going on because they banned out the Franco, which shows that they're going for a dive composition. When you're going for against a dive composition, you have two choices. Either fight fire with fire and have a dive yourself, or trying to use a composition that really likes to bait things out. And then you go back in.
I think the fact that, Occupy Thrones, yes, technically a Franco can act, Kaja can act like a Franco as well. You saw how some of the Kajas that other teams have been played, right? You dive, and then after that you start to drag. But then at the same time, you get that pick off, but you don't have the full stop. You don't have enough damage to burst the person that you abduct away. At the same time, there's a lot of opportunities that RRQ could do everything. Like, you drag a Fredrin into that's basically a gap closer for him, and then taunts everybody.
I hear you, and both of you, very solid points. But I think it was RRQ Akira who banned out the Franco. They know that Maro is lethal on the Franco, bro.
Yeah,
and
no.
They even took the Kufra away from him.
Yeah, the thing is, they banned out the Franco because they want to dive. They got a Yuzong. They got, okay, hold on, let me just check my awareness. They got a Yuzong, they got a Fredrin, and if the Franco is on the other side, it's gonna be a problem. So they ban it out. So they gotta figure out, okay, they're banning this, why?
They can try to be on blue side. I'm talking about Occupy Thrones, and then maybe from there they figure it out. Something to note again, Game 1, Occupy Thrones, dedicated so much. You could say maybe 4 out of 5 bans just to stop Tekash.
Yeah, let's just take a look at the hero pick recap right here, right? You can see RRQ, the damage is just outstanding, like stongs, a compounding, increment with Gusta Lagusta as well as Saiyan. On the other hand, if you look at Occupy Thrones, yes, Agado a little bit shy, but it takes a bit of time for him to get, the gears running, and that slow start could be the problem in game number 1 for Occupy.
Sorry, screenshot this, but Tekashi and Hulk have the exact same damage dealt. 2-0, 3-0-1. The exact same.
How does that happen?
How does that happen?
I feel like I could buy a lottery number with this.
Right? Okay, but here's the thing. Looking at the players going up against each other for mid as well as gold lane, it's very clear that they dealt a lot of damage. But the thing is, how was the damage really dished out? Because again, looking at the Claude is very spread out. Looking at the Valentina is also very spread out. So here's the thing. Keep it simple. You want to catch someone, it's like a single target burst, right?
Correct.
If you're gonna fight it out, you're gonna like bait things out and have a lot of DPS, have a lot of AoE damage, be responsive to what's going to happen.
I think the age of having so much coverage is over. We're at the point where if you want to do something good, you want to do well at something, you focus on it. And I think that's something that Occupy Thrones, with the leadership of Coach Mundo, should have done in the reset.
Yeah, now, back to the drafting point as well in a few seconds. It's back to the blueprints, right? Occupy Thrones, looking back at the archives. What are the kind of heroes that they want to draft going in?
Give Leo the Assassin.
Give Leo the Assassin could be an interesting point.
No, try to get a link. If you can't get a Fanny, try to get a link. Because, again, what won you games? Leo won the Assassin. Give him an Assassin.
Something interesting to point out as well, sorry Leo, is that RRQ has banned out the Fanny and the link.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Hey, wait, no.
They did.
They banned out Fanny first phase.
Yes,
pick,
and then Haya Ling second.
Yeah.
So they could have prioritized it.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Correct. I think
Alright.
Occupy Throne just doesn't really know how to prioritize this pick, but we got to take a look at the draft.
Yep, going into game 2, this is where decisions are going to be made, possibly feelings hurt, but games are won and lost off of what is going to go down. Here we go. Once more, RRQ Akira on the play. I was expecting to switch up here, but no, they're doing the same thing. Franco and Fanny taken out, and then Occupy Thrones banning out the carry and the glue.
I kind of feel like they understand, is it really worth banning all EXP laners for Tekashi? Because I kind of feel like he had an entire year to basically trade all of the meta EXP laners and then some.
I think the best part is that I think RRQ identifies the mission right here is just to basically ban away the Fanny, ban away the Franco, ban away the Kaja, which Maro used in the previous game. Occupy Thrones will trade that ban with a 1-1 ban, but this opens up to the Joy.
And there you go, Astro Thunder still gets his hero anyways. The Joy comes through, and mind you, this is still a flex. We have seen King play this.
Here's the thing, right? Joy, like, it started off very slow, but now it's really catching steam. 1-1 is #1 in pick and ban rate with 100%. Gee, I wonder why.
Man, like, the 1-1, super broken, especially when she gets into the air, spreads all the damage all across the board. But even with the recent nerfs, it's still not enough.
Looking at this, right? So Valentina picked up again. When I see a Valentina, I think of control. I think of team fight. So I'm looking at the draft from Occupied Thrones. I want to see a team fight composition.
Yep. We're looking sure that, you know, Occupied Thrones will pick up a team fight composition. First ingredient for that team fight composition is a tanky frontline. There you go. That's the Fredrin going in. Don't feel for the carry at all because, you know, Occupied Thrones has always already banded away. Now, I think the biggest question from the side of RQ Akira, where is this Joy going to be? Because Jungle Joy doesn't look as delicious anymore. It feels like a EXP Joy is the way to go right now.
Yeah, okay, so I agree. Let Joy be there. So I feel like in this situation, don't pick up a clear-cut jungler just yet because you said as well, King can use this hero. So wait until the end of the draft to make a decision. With Eve as well as Cho picked up, this is a very strong dual mid lane because they can have a lot of control because yes, Cho is a catch hero, but the thing is, because of his Jeet Kune Do, he has AoE crowd control as well. So this is actually a good answer towards a possible team fight composition where you have a lot of control in the slows with the Eve as well as the knockups with the Cho.
Yep, and this leads into the current storyline, the path, the narrative for both coaches drafting is everyone's non-committal, except for Coach Mundo, who picked up on what we were saying. You gotta give Leo an assassin, and at first I thought they were gonna, you know, take this to their grave, flex that Fredrin until the very last minute, but no. Leo said, Coach, look at me, I need the assassin.
Yeah, I need the assassin, goes for the higher. Preferably, I prefer the Link because you got the global map presence, but I mean, as long as Leo is comfortable on this assassin, that's great. Now, your biggest target that you need to look out for is definitely that Eve. You want to try to land the shadow kills on top of the Eve, burst them down, but then again, there's also that tricky part, right? Joy can always take the aggression from the shadow kill and then run away with it.
So that's why, the way that I'm looking at drafts right now, if you're picking up in the Hayabusa, what's the follow-up is going to be very important because you need someone to isolate absolutely anyone, right? So and you got to make sure that you get to dictate how people are isolating yourself because throughout this M4 World Championship, you can't really rely on your opponent to isolate themselves from their own teammates. So you need someone to force it out. Like, again, Akai is not good here, but I'm thinking of something like an Akai where you don't get to choose where you're going to be at, and then the Hayabusa could take control. So I'm looking at the draft. If they can pick anyone that isolates someone from RQ Akira, because you're saying that the target is the Eve. How can you be sure the Eve will anyways be alone?
It doesn't even have to be isolation in the fact of an ult, right? It doesn't even have to be the fact that I can, through my skills, do that. It can be just the nature of the hero. So I'm also looking at possibly a Kufra. The Kufra is solid looking right now.
Your team is
I definitely agree, but it's going to be the Lunox being picked up by the side of Occupied Thrones. I feel like the Kufra should be there in game number 1, but it got slipped away. But RQ Akira will confirm that Rudy for Gusta Lagusta. Now the question is that the Lunox gold lane?
I think so. I personally think so.
Yeah, it is.
Because I don't think anywhere else she should be because the Valentina.
When they check in, oh, no, not here, not here. So you scramble your opponents. I see the concept. And now as an overall draft, looking at Occupy Thrones, what they have brought to the table, it looks better. But if there is one thing I have to nitpick is the fact that they left Gado again in that very, very late game island.
Yeah, very late game. Away from neutral objectives and have Brody shredding on those turrets like no one's business.
That's correct. Brody is a very heavy, hard hitter. Yes, in my opinion, Brody not really good at team fights, but when you have that Yeeve to spread out this box, you have the threat of the Cho to come in and Jeet Kune Do, you have the threat of the Lapu Lapu with the very best warrior, the Brody could just free hit that turret out of control.
against Occupy Thrones.
Yeah, looking at this game right now, again, I want to see how both roamers are actually going to do their thing, because as the
I mean, it's going to be King zipping, zapping around, but Maro, looking a little bit low. The region kicking in right here. Lewis, the Jit Kundo doesn't connect for now. Maro will walk away, but King uses the retreat.
Mission accomplished. I think Occupy Throne should be happy for that first minute.
I agree. They really should be happy. So now, what's next? Leo on this Hayabusa to look at all the information that he has. Okay, Maru, where are they? 3 people around the bottom side of the map. Okay, I'm gonna go top. I'm gonna secure a kill.
Yeah, a lot of brush control right here. It's going to be Maro diving all the way to the back line. King zipping, zapping around once again.
Again, just in the most savage way, check in with Maro.
Gold lane, in terms of damage, I kind of feel like you got more damage around the gold lane.
Maro opening it up. Lewis trying to scout around for pickups. If they have to let go of the turtle, it's going to be reset for now.
Wow, the respect from both teams is like, okay, I understand what you're putting on the table, and I fear it, and I respect it, but who's going to pull the...
Tekashi with the Burmese Warrior. Leo nowhere to be going. But he's able to slip all the way. Leo only 1 HP. Lewis has to burn the flicker at the same time. The kick going in as well. King is just wrecking havoc.
Yeah, that I was surprised. I thought he died as well, but
same.
I guess he managed to use his ult on time to actually run away from the fight. But look at this, Occupy Thrones. King is getting... Look at Maru, yes! Maru's chasing.
He's chasing.
King is there, and he got it.
He will be traded by Sagan. I mean, is this worth it?
I think it is, honestly. Anytime a roamer dies for a jungler and you're close to parity, keep doing it.
Right now, I'm looking at the items, and again, I'm gonna stay with my point. If they actually want to get kills, I kind of feel like this is weird, this is uncharacteristic, but they got to go towards the gold lane for both teams. I mean, because Brody early game actually has a lot of damage. In fact, look at this Blade of Heptases. He has the damage. So right now, both teams Occupy Thrones. I kind of feel like just go up in gold lane.
But neither team are thinking that. Maro is pressuring mid and bottom. I think it comes down to a turtle spawn, right? Like they still want to help build that up. And again, here you'll see how the timing, again, is so different for Occupy Thrones, because they want to make sure Godway is ready, but wait, they catch Maro.
Oh, Maro, the kick going in as well, but it's a sideway kick. Look at the edge of the real one manipulation. Maro, he walks away like a boss.
I mean, I guess this is why Malaysia likes Hilda, because so annoying. You think you got the kill, but the moment there's a bush there, you kind of always forget how much healing you get from that.
The level of knowing how to balance out the damage from the Maro's Hilda is just way too crazy. And now Gato building in with a clock. Let's take a look at the emblems.
Yeah, looking at the emblems right now, it looks like Leo understands. For some reason, Hayabusa needs a little bit more damage, so he's sacrificing a little bit of his movement speed for the damage. And right now, Luis is going up against Maro, and it looks like Maro is winning the trade. Roamer against Roamer violence.
Again, the fact that they're playing with a Lunox just shows that they're willing to make sacrifices, and it's a full-on engage.
Shadow kill going in at the same time. Gustavo has to run away. Now here comes Ferrari 77. Real own world manipulation. Gustavo just walking around, but will get shut down by Ferrari 77. Luis kick Maro all the way back to no man's land. Saigon will pick that up. It's a 1-for-1 trade.
Again, Maro for anyone from RRQ Akira is a good trade, especially since Gado's not suffering just yet. Hey, they put an assist on that gold laner.
And I just like looking at a fight around the gold lane, so now they're freeing things up a little bit. Fury 77 got the
purple?
He protected the purple.
Oh, wow.
It's on him instead of King. So again, that's a check for Occupy Thrones in the mid-game.
Everything is going superbly well for Occupy Thrones in a very awkward way. RQ Akira, I don't know. Everything is looking slightly okay for now in terms of gold lead. Super even.
Oh, you hear that? Conceal, Luis looking for an engage, but Maro spots him again. The vision game making the difference.
Yeah, the Hilda is just so annoying to deal with. No wonder everybody hates her.
Yeah, a lot of people hate her, and right now, looking at the items, we gotta look at the Eve, where the Brute Force Breastplate has been picked up. So, for Occupied Thrones, if they do want to catch someone out, they gotta make sure that they see this item first, because you're gonna have to, you have to invest a little bit more into that.
Yep, Real World Manipulation going in, zoning out Maro away, but the kick will be there. Tries to sell something. Look at how tanky Maro is, but it's gonna be the peel coming in. But Maro, he's still alive though. Nowhere for Maro to run finally. The squirrel jump, and he has to fall on the ground someday.
Close call. If only this was maybe 2 or 3 minutes into the game more, then maybe Gado would have gotten a kill or two. But at least they're just trading Maro. Maro's more than happy to be of service to his squad this way and eventually get them to the late game where they're more comfortable. Something I want to talk about. Saigen is owning mid. Saigen, the fact that he hasn't really left this lane as much, is at least keeping RRQ Akira in a small lead. Again, that's 1,000 gold.
But King, Maro scouts out King for now, but it's going to be the turtle has already spawned. Occupied Thrones currently working on purple buff for now. Maro's going to engage in and jumping on, but Tekashi going in the back line. The Bravest Warrior activating on first, 77 and 12, but it's very 77 responding with the Bravest Warrior, and now they have to run away. The Shark Hero going in, finding Lewis, but he has to bike out. First 77 still on the run as well, just biking out, chucking it down. Lil coming back, taking the turtle away.
Oh, bodies are falling, Luis for Fury,
No,
and it's not done!
Not done yet! Occupied Thrones putting pressure on enemy's wound and peeling it apart.
If we see an instant replay, we can see how Occupied Thrones is actually isolating people from RRQ Akira, because that's what we were talking about. You got to find a way to isolate members of RRQ Akira to make sure that Neo has optimized damage. Now, the way to do it is kind of weird, because Shadow Kill to put everyone together, and once everyone is together, then they start isolating people. So, reverse order, but it still works out.
It's isolation
By
with more steps.
Exactly.
It's like, we come together and then we isolate and then we come together again. Occupied Thrones, I think the way that Maro has been playing this Hilda is actually making so much sense. Opening up the map, everyone somehow is scared of the Hilda.
With the way that Maro had stepped up, originally they had a different shot caller. It was their mid laner previously, Joke. But now it's Fury 77. Maro had to come into the leadership role, and here he's making all the difference. He shrank that gold lead previously about 1,000 and change. Now it's OT who's actually owning the map.
And look at this, the main damage deal, Lunox as well as the Brody already having 2 core items. I would say if they want to fight, this is the time to fight, because you gotta engage the Brody before he gets his Blade of Despair. Once that is online, this is a very scary Brody. Lunox, just by having 2 items, right? Lightning Truncheon as well as the Clock of Destiny, you can already wreak havoc.
And thinking of the possibilities, right? We really haven't seen the full potential of Gado just yet. He can even survive when King tries to dive him. But so far, RRQ Akira have picked up on it. Hey, Occupied Thrones are owning more of the map. We should watch out. Tekash tries to engage, cancels it. Oh, no, Leo!
It's so hard to see Hayabusa just jumping in back and forth like.
Look at this, it's very crazy, but Luis gets a kick.
Luis got a kick for 77, actually blowing down the real one manipulation. Icon following suit, but he gets cancelled. We'll be there to say hi to Tekashi. Backsaw because Occupied Throne picked up a good kill.
Look at the way Occupied Thrones is approaching the fight. Leo is the one engaging. He's giving the idea, I'm gonna use my Ogi Shadow Kill, and that forces the members of RRQ Akira to actually move together.
Yep, Meryl running away, running for the hills at the same time. He's super fast. RRQ Akira cannot catch up.
He is just zooming on throughout the map. He's been doing this since minute 1. And Fury 77 answers.
Real world manipulation goes in again. Saiyan has to back off.
Something tells me Occupied Thrones needs to go a little faster. The fact that they took the Lord in under 10 seconds, they should just take advantage of the lead.
And like I said, Lunox really just needs these 2 items, and Leo really showing that he's training his brains off, because he's not really committing, but he's making RRQ Akira think, I could commit, but will I commit? And that's really ruining RRQ Akira's in the way that they want to position themselves around the map.
Yes, and that's what RRQ Akira has been doing so well. In the games that they win, it's their pace, it's their tempo, and Occupy Thrones, their off-kilter way of playing the gold laner and assassin roles are throwing them off, and they're starting with a quad shadow into a shadow kill.
Quad shadow kill, gonna go all the way in the back line as well, but he's gonna get chunga all the way in. Gonna be, oh no, his Shadow's still alive, going in the burn-ins as well. Burn 77, pick up a double kill at the same time. It's gonna be Occupy Thrones, cracking over the mid lane for now. It's gonna be the secondary engage coming up from Leo. King coming in to try to make things work, but Hope super tanky. Burn 7, but look at Maro. He's here with the ultimate. How King's down the King.
1-4-3. Say what you will about a gold laner being traded for 3 members, but they're converting out of their minds a top lane tier 2 plus a tier 2 in mid.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen a support assassin? That is Leo right there. The shadow kill, more of like a fake engagement tool, and he is super sleek. Shadow kill once again, all the way with dodging Takashi, but he will fall, unfortunately. But that is so much time being bought by Thrones.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen a better example of a caster curse? The moment he talks about a player, oh, this guy's good, oh, he got sacrificed. Speaking of which, Luis gets a kick on tomorrow.
Kick on tomorrow, but where's the follow-up coming out? King is actually...
Gusa needs a clean. And that's what explains this 4K, maybe 3.5K gold lead at 12 minutes.
Here's the thing, you got...
Whoa! Get artillery strike from the sky! 2 members from the side of...
Right now, Luis is really saying, Depo is like, okay, you know what? Enough of this.
Lord at less than half health. Luis's eyes on Maro. Hulk not even gonna get any closer. King is gonna retribution. That Lord.
He gets terrified as well, but he's able to dash out alive. But 37 is AC.
I gotta say, looking at both these teams right now, I think they're playing with emotion. They're not really like, all right, this is the strategy. It's like, no, me angry.
But now, but we'll go into nothing but Occupy Thrones. Oh, the memory tears the Hayabusa up. Game has devolved into something very crazy.
Yep, this is going to be a difficult defense for Occupy Thrones now that RQ Akira has regained part of the map. They have a very small lead. Vision, though, Occupy Thrones knows a little bit more. Oh, successful Lord defense, but wait!
Takashi just buying some time to try to push down, using the minions, trying to land on some turret damage, but Occupy Thrones.
They got the tempo back on their own field.
Help HP Leo, what are you doing? Right into the shadow kill, but he's actually doing something well. Maybe I push Akira all the way back, but the stun coming in. The wind of nature activated the hand. Ultimate misses. Gusta Lagusta. He likes it as Furry 77 replies with a revenge.
1-for-1, both key members of both their squads. Luis gonna make it home safely. Maro still looking for bodies again. It's that savage, that instinctive, that very intrinsic way of playing Mobile Legends still on display here in this 16-minute bout. Let's take a look at the items.
Here's the thing, I thought the Brody had a Blade of Despair. He's like, no, I totally have way more than enough damage because now he has the Demon Hunter sword, so he has extra attack speed. So if anyone wants to tank, they can try. They legit can try, but they won't be able to get away with it. Looking at the itemization, he has the answer towards the Lunox. He has the answer towards the Hayab.
Decisions, I believe, for Occupy Thrones to make right now, given the sudden clapback that RQ Akira put on the board. Permanent damage to their mid, to their top, and now they force an ult from Gado.
Oh, that may be big.
Oh
and now
my
Gado will get kicked right into real woman base. Look at Leo. But oh, Leo! Where is he going? Akira is showing them they want to make sure they're taking down the Frederick as well. 37-7 respawn just in time. It's going to 3 members. Second doesn't really have the ultimate as well, so he is going to be cleared up by 37-7. That is an emergency situation.
You know what? He's looking for that opportunity. Luis sees him first and be like, you can go into brilliance, I can still catch you, dude.
That's why they call him the Brazilian heartbreaker, right? Like, you want to do something, and you're so sure you can, but Luis just says, no, not on my watch. Let's take a look at this Lord. It is indeed evolved, ladies and gentlemen, so it has that extra ability. It can help clear waves, hurt opponents on the defense, all the worse. And again, at least Occupy Thrones, they have Maro here in this Pixel Brush. I wonder, how can they find a catch?
So much bush control here from the side of RRQ. Occupy Thrones, they do have some form of bush control, but Leo is super ballsy right here, trying to look for any form of puzzle to shadow kill as well. But Occupy Thrones has a very wide open base. They have to stem that bleeding for now. RRQ Brazil will start that Lord.
In this fight, look at Luis. He's looking for it. He's looking for Gado. He's looking for Leo. He's dictating the fight. If no one touches Gado in this up-and-coming fight, it could be all Occupy Thrones. But if Luis catches him, it's going to be trouble.
Oh, Astro Thunder not letting go. Oh, finally the Lord gets reset. But look at this, the Y bush to the east. Huge presence from Occupy Thrones there. Oh, RQ gonna come in, conceal play.
He's looking for a conceal play as well. Hog will be the victim for now. He's got all the members of the RQ Wolf climbers in it. But Furry 77 is actually running ground. Hog trying to buy some time, but not enough. He's got Furry 77 jumping all the way in. Second has to run for now. Maro does have the king, but the king is actually trying to ditch a dash. Gustav Lucas has finally joined the fight right now. Just hard damage. RQ Brazil definitely carrying. And then there was laid out Furry 77 and Gado at the same time. There is no way for Maro to follow them.
2 for none so far, and RQ Akira happy with the results. No free Lord for neither squad. They both have to reset. 2K goes lead for the boys from Brazil.
Small mistake by Gado just now, but hold on, this could be a bigger mistake by King. He went inside a 1v2.
As time goes by, the amount of mistakes that you'll start to make will escalate. Takashi already using the ultimate.
To expect Leo to survive that. That's basically all the surviving members of
How ballsy are you to go in? Because right now Luis is going for Maro. Looks like they're abandoning the Lord.
This Lord fight has gone on way too long.
Numbers don't lie. We said it before. The Lord for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
No way Occupy Thrones can get it. King secures it.
Yes.
Jays, this is what they call a Lord dance. All right? This happens about 4 or 5 times per game in a Filipino match in the MPL. And I have to say, RRQ Akira have done so well to orchestrate it, and Occupy Thrones did their best to respond. And that's why it lasted so long. We were originally looking at an 18-minute Lord. Now it's tailed up. It's a 21-minute Lord marching down mid.
This is very scary for Occupy Thrones because now there is almost no way for you to isolate anyone.
Down on the Occupy Thrones core. Maro is desperately trying to buy some time, but RQ Brazil focus down the road of Occupy Thrones. And now there's one member down as well. Occupy Thrones buy some precious time, but for how long?
Oh, they cleared the minion waves. King.
At the same time, Hawk is absorbing so much damage, but he will not be there for long. Sega going into real one manipulation.
A while longer, but RRQ Akira have found a way. They're sending the MPL MENA champions home tonight. GG, well played, and thank you to Occupy Thrones, but RRQ Akira moves on to the next round.
Saying they did well is an understatement. They understand what was going on, and then they, with the experience that they have, they know how to fight against it. They know how to fight against Occupy Thrones, and even though Occupy Thrones has been eliminated,
Did themselves. Maro on the other hand causing so much havoc. This is an unconventional game of Mobile Legends BangBang, but truth to be told, RRQ Akira still reigns supreme.
Well, unconventional makes for really entertaining matches, but for now, the boys from Brazil stand tall. Let's give it up. Viva RRQ! Vamos! And congratulations, obrigado, to our boys from Brazil. Let's throw it over to our analysts to break down game number 2 and the rest of the series that Viva RRQ took home.
Akira and just RRQ in general. And again, the throne for now, that throne has been conquered. It's a
Yeah.
sweep here for RQ Akira over Occupy Thrones, but again, it's been
close.
it's been a amazing experience watching Occupy Thrones, the journey that they've had up to this point, and you know, it's always sad to say goodbye to these teams that have to get knocked out here in the knockout stage, but
Gonna have to say that Occupy Thrones all throughout the group stages and now the knockout stages were so many close goals for the team. I think this is just about their experience that's speaking, right? Or lack thereof of Occupy Thrones. But the skill is there. You can see it. They know what they're doing. They know what they wanted to do. They're just not that clutch as compared to a team like RQ Akira who had more, you know, longer training, more experience internationally. But still, Occupy Thrones, very commendable performance.
bright future.
Bright future
I
for
mean,
sure.
that's what you can see here. I mean, they've made it to this point, and it was still, you got to think, it was a team that a lot of people didn't know what to expect from them, right? I mean, that was the case.
Teams, we get to see them perform, and especially the ones who make it from here forward. It's not as bad because they've made it pretty far, but Occupy Thrones, a great performance, but in the end, only one team can occupy the throne. Now, Brazil did a phenomenal job holding it together through those games, even with that tough start of the second game. I mean, very well played.
Well, we're going to find out here. Again, this is a long game, considering the average time for a lot of these matches in M4. 22 minutes and 26 seconds here. This was a nail-biter, I do want to say, you know. And Wolf, how's this looking for the items?
You know, RQ Akira, I thought that they will have the better early game composition. I thought that they will take over the early game just because of the fact that they have like Eve as well as the Brody. And even Brody having already like Maleficor and Demon Hunter sword, you should have a lot of damage ready for RQ Akira. But then again, their choice this time is for King to be a little bit more passive, right? You have the Genius one for sure, but the rest is like oil on the defensive spot. So what I'm trying to say here is that RQ Akira didn't have enough to overwhelm Occupy Thrones because of their Occupy Thrones' itemization, as well as the fact that they're actually finding the mark. Gado, I mean, even when he went 0-5, I think this is still a pretty impressive performance from the Lunox.
I mean, when we crept into the end of that game, the fights were definitely long in the choices of the Haas Claws on Gusta Lagusta plus the DHS. Then you take a look at King, who built more bulky, and you even take a look at Takashi building the sustainability with that Bloodlust axe and everything. They were ready for the long haul. They wanted to bring in those long fights. Now, taking a look at some of these statistics, the forgotten one with Sagan picking up 12 assists, and then Gusta Lagusta. I know it was a long game, but 130,000 damage. That's insane. Hulk taking most of that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, when we saw Gusta Lagusta not perform that well in the early stages, they're quite afraid for RQ Akira already because they drafted an early game composition. Come the late game, you see him like time his ultimate, time his stun actually so well, and even his ultimate, he doesn't just throw it away. He waits for the right and opportune moment. And I can fairly remember that outplay he did against Leo when he went in. I mean, Leo went in with a quad shadow as well as the shadow kill. He eventually had like Wind of Nature available for that, and Gusta Lagusta just also made enough space for him to get out of the zone after the shadow kill coming out from Leo. So there were many outplay moments from this guy, even when he's playing a Brody.
I mean, that's the thing. There was moments of brilliance here that really worked in favor of RQ Akira, because still at certain points in the game, it was looking like, you know, Occupy Thrones could take that game and take us to a game 3. Unfortunately for Occupy Thrones, they couldn't finish the game, right? I mean, they were winning some skirmishes here and there, but it was still a very difficult game to turn around for them. And you know, we're not surprised, right? Gusta Lagusta having a massive game here on this Brody. We saw just how much he was able to farm up the 10-2-6 KDA here, looking really strong in this Brody pick.
Yeah, and I mean, and as I said before, he didn't go with any sort of defensive, like no brute force, nothing like that, but instead went for the DHS in the Haas Claws. And I was actually asking Wolf about the DHS during the game. I'm like, do we think that works? And my guess was, I think it maybe gives a bit more possible finish-offs with the
torn apart memory.
Torn apart
You
memories.
say your memory was torn
memory
apart.
My
for sure.
memory was torn apart.
Yeah, it's very true. I think that the idea here for RQ here is just to burst on the members of Occupy Thrones as soon as possible. That's why they chose for this build. And I think that he went for the Haskell's after the fact that his Wind of Nature is on cooldown. So he's very active with his item choices. Whenever you don't need an item, just sell it and trade it for a cheaper one. Haskell's does the job, and eventually Gusta Lagusta is just able to sustain himself in the latter portions of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we saw, right? We saw a lot of these extended fights go on
Right,
through this game,
right.
and those Haskell's is a big component of surviving that, and not to mention, too, not just the item, but the fact of his positioning, right? We saw a lot of the times, even that last siege in the base, how clutch the positioning for Gusta Lagusta was.
Most definitely. Even the position of him from the 5 to 10 and 5 second minute mark. I mean, able to rotate. Once he got the advantage in the gold lane, he starts to move over to the XP lane, starts to help with these objectives. And taking a look at some of these highlights, you can even see him now being so important in game one, hitting that crossbow of Tang at such clutch times. RQ Akira really dominating, I feel like, in game one, but even here, being so pivotal throughout the whole series.
Yeah, all throughout the series, that Gusta Lagusta just pulls through for RQ Akira. I mean, everybody was pulling their own weight in game number one. Come game number two, it was really rocky at the start, but eventually they were able to manage to overwhelm Occupy Thrones. I'm excited to see game number two. This is game number one. It was pretty one-sided. RQ Akira just got the OT's number. Specifically with the game, with how they are able to play it, and we are going to see Sagan play the Eve once again, and King playing now the Joy. It wasn't as smooth as game number one, but you're gonna notice the torn apart memories just destroying Occupy Thrones many times this game.
Not only that, but every time he lands a hit, you can see his health bar come back a bit, and that's where it was just. He was really able to, especially against like a Fredrin or something like that, where you know these fights are gonna go on. And it was just, I think that's what really helped throughout the final parts of these games.
I mean, even there, like that highlight right there, the fact the positioning from Gusta Lagusta was crucial here. And even here, you can see he's outside the base, right? Waiting patiently, then goes in, because he knows that that's pretty much the end right there.
There's no threat at all. You can go for the flicker in, you have your jump again, you have another stun. Eventually you'll have the damage, and there's no one to actually threaten you. Gusta Lagusta knows his timings, and that is one of the marquee, how do you say this, attributes that you're looking for when you want to play the gold lane.
Well, it was an amazing series here to end the day. It was a sweep for them. And again, congratulations to RQ Akira. On behalf of me, Naisu, Trex, and Wolf, we're going to hear over on the stage with our hosts with RQ Akira.
Here we are with the King of Kings from Brazil, RQ Akira! Congratulations! You guys did really well. They did so good with that sweep. I have to ask, because your opponent tried to rattle you yesterday, and they with the talking.
I think when the opponent says things like trash talk or give strength for our team, and we stay humble every time because we are from Brazil, and that's it.
Keep calm. So with the sweep for today,
Our training
of today that you saw.
because the draft and we are good with the heroes, and like Gusta, he's so good with Brody, and this is a key for our victory.
So for you, just like in the M3. So what's different this time around so Brazil can go even further than top 8?
I think the difference in this time is our preparation.
This was important for us.
Yeah.
Oh, so the
That's
supporter from Indonesia.
Thank you. This is Brazil. Thank you for supporting us. And terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Kami
Yeah.
One more. Aku cinta kamu.
What?
Aku cinta kamu.
Aku cindanamu.
Okay, one last question for you. You're going to be going up against the Valley. Now, the group stages, it didn't
Play against the Valley.
but will be a hard match, we think. They are with another thinking of game, so will be hard, but we are confident.
All right, that's what we need. Confidence, especially against the Valley. Once again, congratulations to RRQ Akira.
Yay! This is Brazil! And thank you for the great interview. We will see you on other occasions.
Thank you so much. So, Clara, today we had back-to-back games, action-packed today. What was your favorite series out of all of them?
Mara, I've seen a lot of games, but this third match really caught my eyes.
With the Valley.
That's right, they won with a style. Even though the opponents tried to split first, they still keep calm and they got the win. How about you?
Too bad for Todak at their expense, but don't worry, Todak. I know you'll come back stronger for the Todak fans, for the Malaysian fans out there. That's right. The Valley did really great in the beginning. They seemed and your supremacy. They're really improving.
Yeah, nobody could predict the second match of the day because we know that everyone going to be full all out and nobody want to lose because they got eliminated today. We got 4 teams that cannot compete tomorrow.
Now, this is our last best of 3. After this, we're gonna go to the best of 5. What do you think? How do you think that'll affect the game and the players going from best of 3 to best of 5?
You know what? Best of 5 is really hard because they need to prepare a lot of things, and this is
the updated bracket.
We know that we have to say goodbye to 4 teams today. And with 2-0, S11 has to be stopped as well, got eliminated. And as well, Team Hub and Toda and Occupy Thrones.
But Falcon instead of supremacy, the Valley and RRQ Akira will move on to the next round. But take a look at the upper bracket. We have the Onyx, Echo, RRQ Hoshi, and Blacklist International. Indonesia versus Philippines in the upper bracket. And you know what? For the schedule for the next day, especially tomorrow, we're gonna have it split up. It'll be the lower bracket and the upper bracket. Falcon Esports will be going up and Sandio Supremacy.
Oh, and for the closing, this is best of 5 series as well for RRQ Hoshi against Blacklist International.
It's getting exciting, even more intense now that we have reached the top 8 of our competition. So you better not miss the following days because you know what? We had 4 days down and we're gonna have 5 more days to go.
Oh, well. Things gonna be so intense tomorrow. But of course, everyone don't miss it. Come and join us here at M4.
Let us know who your favorite teams are. Keep it coming in the comment section below. And of course, we'd like to thank our sponsors. M4 is powered by Mooton, presented by TikTok, our official content partner, supported by Secret Lab, our official gaming chair.
And we have Esports Charts, our analytical partner. Gang, our official merchandise partner. We have Miwas, our media partner. And last but not least, our Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia.
Join us tomorrow for another day of exciting MLBB action as we see 8 teams dare to be great. Goodbye, everybody. You've been watching the Mobile Legends BangBang M4 World Championship.
See you.